let's get into this week's episode.
You have led me through the fire in darkest night. You are close like no other. I've known you as a father. I've known you as a friend. Oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. I love your voice. You have led me through the fire in darkest night. You are close like no other. I've known you as a father. I've known you as a friend. Oh, I have lived in the goodness of God. All my life you have been faithful. And all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. Your goodness, God. Your goodness is running after me. Your goodness is running after me. With my life laid down and surrendered now, I'll give you everything. 'Cause your goodness is running after me, yeah. 'Cause your goodness is running after me, yeah. Your goodness is running after me. With my life laid down, I'm surrendered now. I'll give you everything. 'Cause your goodness is running after me. Yeah. 'Cause all my life you have been faithful. And all my life you have been so, so good. Every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. And all my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. Yes, I will sing of the goodness of God.
Hello boys and girls, Sasha here from Kerith Bracknell. It's great to be back with you again on Kerith KidsTv for Run and Sprint. How are your summer holidays going? I hope that you're getting to do lots of fun things with your family and friends. Spending time with our friends is really important, isn't it? This will give you a clue for our theme today. Whether you have one or two close friends or a whole group of friends, it's great to play together, listen to each other, pray for each other, support each other, and help each other through ups and downs, through good times and bad times. I know that it's been especially hard in the last year, and a lot of you have had to keep in touch over video calls when you've not been able to see each other. So well done to all of you for helping and supporting your friends when things have been tough. I'm sure you were so happy when you were able to see each other in person again at school before the holidays. So we are in week 4 of our Kerith Kid Olympic series. As you may know, Kid Olympics is all about running our race with Jesus. We've been talking about the different things we can do to help us keep going and to run better. Now, if you're an athlete, you need things like a pair of good running shoes and water and a good coach. Do you remember what we talked about last week? That's right, it was all about how singing our praises and worship to God changes things. We read in the Bible how Paul and Silas were in prison, but instead of being sad or upset, they prayed and sang praises to God. Do you remember what happened? Yes, that's right, there was an earthquake which shook everything up, and they were freed from prison. And the jailer and his family made Jesus their forever friend and started running their race with Jesus too. So boys and girls, did you get a chance to sing songs of praise to the Lord this week? Has anyone been singing This is Amazing Grace or God's Love is Bigger Than a Burger? I know I have. It will really help you keep on track with running your race with Jesus. Boys and girls, can anyone remember what the other things we have talked about in the first 2 weeks which can help us run our race with Jesus were? That's right, we talked about how praying and reading the Bible can help us run our race with Jesus as we stay close to God by talking to him in prayer and reading his word, his instruction manual, and obeying what he tells us. He is our coach. Now, Paul and Silas were great friends. When they were in jail, they helped and supported each other when things were tough. That gives you another big clue for what this week is all about. Can anyone guess? Yes, that's right. This week is all about friendship and being in community with other Christian friends, with friends who've asked Jesus to be their forever friend and are running their race with Jesus alongside us. Just like Paul and Silas, we need our friends, and they help keep us close to God when things are tough. For example, in Hebrews chapter 10, verses 24 to 25, it says this: "Let us think about each other and help each other to show love and do good deeds. You should not stay away from the church meetings as some are doing, but you should meet together and encourage each other. Do this even more as you see the day coming." Now, one way we can do this is by coming to Kerith Kids or to church in person. Whether you go to Bracknell, Farnborough, Windsor or West Wight, it's a great place to meet your friends and a great place to make new friends, especially if you're new to the area. It's wonderful to be able to spend time together, to play games, read stories from the Bible, pray for each other and sing worship songs together and build a community of friends. So today we're going to read about 3 more friends. Their names are Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego. Aren't they great names? And we're going to read about how they helped each other keep close to God when things were really tough. Now, they didn't face prison like Paul and Silas. Oh no, it was even worse. Does anyone know the story? If you do know the story, you will know that they faced a fiery furnace or a really, really hot, fiery oven. Boys and girls, please go and get your Bibles and find the book of Daniel, chapter 3. Daniel is in the Old Testament, the part of the Bible written before Jesus was born, about that far in, if you can see my Bible. Now, there are 39 books in the Old Testament, and Daniel is the 27th book. We're going to be reading all of chapter 3. The verses will show on the screen, but please also pause the video and read it at home now. Wow, what an amazing story. Instead of being barbecued and burnt to a crisp, our three friends, Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego, were miraculously rescued. Let's do a quick summary. So this is a story about King Nebuchadnezzar. Our three friends, Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego, worked for the king and had important jobs. One day, the king decided to build a huge image made of gold that stood 27 meters or 90 feet high. To understand how tall this is, imagine 15 grown men all standing on top of one another to make a really, really big tower. King Nebuchadnezzar then made an announcement telling everyone that when they heard the music, they must bow down and worship the statue because he said they had to. Whoever did not obey and worship the statue would immediately be thrown into a fiery furnace. Now, why did Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego refuse to bow down and worship the statue? How do you think they might have felt about the thought of being thrown into a fire? Let's imagine the conversation these three friends have had. So Shadrach might have said, I'm a bit scared of the thought of being thrown into the fire, but God has commanded people only to worship him. He is the one true God, and I want to do what he says. Meshach might have said, yes, we love and worship the one true God. Only he is worthy of our worship. God does not want us to worship anything or anyone other than him. After all, he is God. He made us and he loves us so much. We will not bow down to the statue and disobey what the Lord has asked us to do. Abednego may have said, yes, why would we want to pray to or worship something that isn't real? Something that can't answer our prayers or help us. To worship a big pile of gold like the one King Nebuchadnezzar set up is silly. The gold can't hear us or see us or care about anything or anyone. Let's not be afraid to stand up and do the right thing, because no matter what happens, God is with us. Don't be scared, Shadrach. God may stop us from being thrown into the fire and being harmed. Or he may be calling us to be with him in heaven, which will be fantastic just as it is. We just need to keep trusting in him. I'm sure they would have prayed together, asking God for strength and peace and reminding each other that no matter what, they would do what God had told them to do, even if it meant that they would be thrown into a fire. They were helping each other stay close to God when things were tough. Now, do you remember what they told Nebuchadnezzar about God? They told the king that God was powerful enough to save them from the fire. They told the king that God was more powerful than Nebuchadnezzar himself. They also said that even if God did not save them from the fire, they would still not disobey God. That made Nebuchadnezzar really mad. Right away, he ordered the furnace to be heated even hotter than it usually was and commanded some of the strongest soldiers to take Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego and throw them in the fire. The soldiers took the three men, just as they were, straight to the furnace. The men were wearing all their clothes, including robes, their shirts and turbans on their heads. These things would catch fire really easily. But their trust in God enabled them to stand firm, even as they were tied up and thrown into the fire. Then something miraculous happened. Did God rescue them from the fiery furnace? Yes, God protected them. He was in the fire with them. King Nebuchadnezzar jumped to his feet in amazement and asked his advisors, weren't there only 3 men thrown into the fire? They replied, yes, O king. But he said, look, I see 4 men walking around in the fire, untied and unhurt. And the 4th looks like some kind of angel, some kind of son of the gods. And he shouts to the 3 friends, Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, come out. Servants of the Most High God, come here. When Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego came out of the fiery furnace, they had not been burned at all. Their clothes weren't burned. They didn't smell like fire or like a barbecue. They were completely unharmed. We know what a great miracle this was because the Bible says that the men who threw Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego into the fire died by standing too close to the fire. Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego weren't close to the fire. They were actually in the fire. At that moment, King Nebuchadnezzar knew that they worshipped a real God, not some fake statue. God had sent an angel to protect them from harm. And even more importantly, he realized that they truly believed and trusted in God. They were willing to die rather than serve or worship any god except their own God, the one true God. So from that day on, the king made an announcement that all the people could not say anything bad about Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego's God, or they would be badly punished. The king then gave the 3 men better jobs than they already had. So, boys and girls, can you imagine how happy these 3 friends must have been? They encouraged and supported each other in keeping close to God, and I am sure that they would have been singing songs of worship and thanks to God for their amazing rescue, and we can all be encouraged by their story. So this week, boys and girls, let's think about how we can be good friends and support, encourage and pray for each other, especially when things are tough. Being in community with other Christian friends helps us to run our race with Jesus.
To week 4 of our Kerith Olympic Kids. The boys are in the lead. Girls, though, if you win this one, it's going to be head-to-head on the final. So with this one, we have got another relay race with the water balloons. So what they are going to do, they are going to hold 2 water balloons on their heads. They are going to sprint as fast as they can around the trees and come back. However, it's not who can do it the quickest, it's who can keep the water balloons intact. So are you ready? Yeah. Who do you think's going to win? The girls! Oh, 50-50. Well, are you ready? Yeah. Are you steady? Yeah. Okay, go! Have got 5 balloons. The boys, we've got a total of 1, which means for this week, the girls are the winners, which means it is 2-2. So we are going head-to-head in the final next week. So that is the end for our episode. We hope you've enjoyed it.